Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Mr. Samip Century and I'm here to help you understand sociology. In continuation with the previous video, I have come up with 30 Sociology MCQ practice questions for the beginners, for the ones who is in UG level and have just started the preparation for NET, SET and other competitive exams. This MCQ is purely meant for beginners, as I have tried to start this series from the very beginning, that is the origin and development of sociology. So, dear friends, let us begin with the first question. Who has named simple statistics as social physics? Auguste Comte, Adolphe Quetelet, Diepley, and Concret. The answer is Adolphe Quetelet. Because Comte had earlier used the term social physics, but it had been subsequently appropriated by others, most notably the Belgian statistician Adolphe Quetelet. Next, which among the following is not true? Comte put forth a hierarchical arrangement of the sciences, and the options are in order of main historical emergence and development, in order of dependence upon each other, in order whether they were science or not, and in order of their decreasing degree of generality and the increasing degree of complexity. The correct option is C, that is in order whether they were science or not, because the hierarchy of the science is a theory formulated by Auguste Comte in the 19th century. This theory states that science develops over time, beginning with the simplest and most general scientific discipline, astronomy, which is the first to reach the positive stage, that is one of three in Comte's law of three stages. As one moves up the hierarchy, this theory further states that sciences become more complex and less general, and that they will reach the positive stage later. Disciplines further up the hierarchy are said to depend more on the developments of their predecessors. The highest discipline on the hierarchy is the social sciences. According to this theory, there are higher level of consensus and faster rates of advancement in physics and other natural sciences than there are in the social sciences. Moving on to the next question. Who among the following had divided sociology into two major parts, namely static and dynamic sociology? Again, it's Auguste Comte. Next question. According to Nicolas Timoshev, Spencer's law of evolution in strict sense is, the options are sociological, philosophical, biological, and methodological. The answer is philosophical. Nicolas Timoshev was one of the original developer of the discipline of sociology of law, and Timoshev was the author of various works including The Great Retreat, The Growth and Decline of Communism in Russia. Mind and Society is the work of, among these options that has been given are Haralambous, Wilfred Pareto, Baltimore, or Alex Ingalls. And the answer is The Mind and Society is the work of Wilfredo Pareto. Pareto was an Italian engineer, sociologist, economist, political scientist, and philosopher. He made several important contributions to economics, particularly in the study of income distribution and in the analysis of individuals' choices. He was also responsible for popularizing the use of the term elite in social analysis. Moving on to next question. Which among the following would you not categorize as characteristics of Herbert Spencer's thought? Options are evolution is the key concept. Option B, all processes of change are markedly different. C. Society is a superorganic entity, and D. Society is more than a collection of individuals. The correct option is C, that is, society is a superorganic entity. The Herbert Spencer, the 19th century evolutionist, coined the term superorganic to focus on social organization in the first chapter in his Principle of Sociology, entitled Superorganic Evolution. He argued for a distinction between the organic and the social domains. He does this by exploring the holistic nature of society as a social organism. He distinguishes how society do not behave like a biological organism. For Spencer, the superorganic was an emergent property of interacting organisms such as human beings, as distinguished from being a transcendent property of the individuals. The next question is, who has criticized Comte and Spencer for indulging in pseudo-scientism? Among the options, Pareto, Moscas, Marx, and Durkheim, the correct option is Pareto. According to Pareto, science always begins with simplification. It observes certain aspects of certain phenomena. It designates what aspect of phenomena are to be retained by rigorous concepts. It establishes relations between the phenomena covered by the concepts, and it endeavors to combine simplified approaches gradually in order to recreate the complex reality. This is what Pareto wanted to do in sociology. As he said, natural sciences were never built up by studying and classifying the terms of ordinary language, but by studying and classifying facts. Let us try to do the same for sociology. Thus, Pareto wanted to establish scientific sociology, sociology dealing with religion, humanity, democracy. Therefore, he called pseudo-scientism. The next question, who has classified action in logical and non-logical categories? Option A, Parson, B, Pareto, C, Weber, and D, George Howard Mead. The answer is again Pareto. Pareto, turning his attention to the member of society, he held that human action within the system can be classified as logical and non-logical. Logical actions occur when a preponderance of rigorous evidence is implied by the actor to assess whether an end be realistically achieved, and if so, what are the best means to reach that goal. Again, the next question by Pareto, that is, residues and derivatives are both manifestation of sentiments, which according to Pareto is among the options like instincts, willpower, occurrences, and leftover. It is instinct. The core of Pareto's work, and also the most controversial, was his general theory of residual and derivations. Putting simply, residues are the reasons or motives for behavior, while derivatives are the excuses, justification, and rationalizations we give for our behavior. By residue, Pareto meant the basis of human action, the sentiments that determine behavior. Moving on to next question. Residues are, the options are changing, relatively permanent, non-existence, can be molded. So the residues are relatively permanent. Next question. Fill in the blanks. Pareto had described these classes of residue, and the options are 2, 10, 6, and 5. The correct option is C, that is 6. These were the instinct of combinations, as change, persistence of aggregates, that is non-change, Third one was self-expression or activity, the need to do something to express feelings through action. The fourth one was sociality or sociability. And the fifth was integrity or integration with others and with one social setting. And the last one was, and the sixth and last one was sex residues. Moving on to next question. Who among the following has distinguished between lions and foxes as types of elite? And among these questions, from these options that has been given, like Pareto, Sills, Weber, and Manham, it is again Pareto. According to this, lions and foxes, the Machiavelli said the lion cannot protect himself from trap, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. So therefore, one must be a fox to recognize trap and a lion to frighten wolves. So Pareto had borrowed this concept of lion and foxes from Machiavelli. And among these options, the right option is Machiavelli. Next question. The value of sociological theory lies in describing society, describing thinkers, the number of questions raised, the describing behavioral pattern. The answer is C, the number of questions raised. Next question. Thinker who had identified two types of general theory, namely the normative and non-normative, is B, that is George C. Homans. Who gave the theory of leisure class? The options are Parsons, T. Veblen, Davis and Moore, R. E. Park. The correct option is T. Veblen. The theory of leisure class, an economic study of institution, was the work of Veblen in the year 1899. Thorstein Veblen is a thesis on economics and a detailed social critique of conspicuous consumption as a functions of social class and of consumerism derived from the social stratification of people and the division of labor, which are social institutions of the feudal period that had continued to the modern era. The concept of trend incapacity was pronounced by, again the answer is T. Veblen. By training incapacity, he meant the idea that certain types of education trainings and experience and habits may lead an individual to be unable to think beyond of a set of constant and assumption that they had formed. Next question. Unlike Summer, Veblen believed that the industrialist and the man of finance were thus growing fat on the effort of the industrial workers. The answer is parasites. Next question. Who advocated the importance of the social science or its analysis ethically neutral or value-free? The answer is D. Max Weber. Max Weber was a German sociologist, philosopher, and political economist who is regarded today as one of the most important theorists on the development of modern Western society. Who was responsible for introducing sociology at Bombay University in 1919? And among the options, we have M. N. Srinivas, G. S. Ghurye, Patrick Gitz, and R. K. Mukherjee. The correct answer is Patrick Gitz. Sir Patrick Gitz was a British biologist, sociologist, geographer, philanthropist. He is known for his innovative thinking in the field of urban planning and sociology. Next question. Indiology means, the options are detailed description about India, branches of archaeology. Option C is study of India and its culture. Option D is study of uh, Indian census. The correct option is C, that is study of India and its culture. The next question is, Orientalists were scholars who studied the culture of option A, India and China, B, Greek and Rome, C, Egypt and Mesopotamia, D, Far East countries. The answer is A, India and China. Orientalist is someone from the West who studies the language, culture, history, or costumes of countries in Eastern Asia. Next question. Marx studies society in the options are conceptual ways, holistic way, methodological ways, and factual way. And the answer is holistic way. This is the view that natural system should be studied from the point of view of wholes rather than part. In political economy, a holistic analysis could proceed from the study of society rather than individuals and assume that individual behavior is determined by the social whole rather than the converse. Karl Marx, in his study of political economy, analyzed capitalism as a whole system with particular structures and tendencies, while also using classes as the key building block of society. Thus, individual behavior is said to be determined by the property of the class within which it is situated. Thus, the Marx studies society in holistic way. Moving on to next question. The just historical act according to Marx was, among the options, unity, and B, familiarity with each other, C, production for material life, and D, class struggle. It is the option C, that is the production for material life, as the mode of production in material life determines the general characteristics of social, political, and spiritual processes of life. It is not the consciousness of man that determines their existence, but on the contrary, the social existence determines their consciousness. For Marx, praxis stands for, among the answers we have class struggles, using theory for practical political actions. Number C is oppositions between haves and have-nots, and number D is material condition of life. The correct option is B, that is using theory for practical political action. Actually, Marx complained about Hegel and all previous philosophers that they only sought to understand the world. They were thinkers looking only for theoretical truth, whereas for Marx the point is to change it. That is to engage in praxis. In praxis, you are engaged in trying to understand the world and in trying to act in the world in order to change it. But your understanding of the world does not seek truth, partly because Marx does not think any absolute truth independent of human praxis exists, but seeks the conflict, contradictions, and imbalances of the world so as to both suggest, impel, and orient how to act. For Marx, the bourgeois understanding of theory and practice usually splits the two, so that you theoretically seek the truth, but there is no articulated way how obtaining the truth changes your practice. So you can know what is true, but you may well find yourself unable to act on it. For Marx, praxis is crucial because the philosophical seeking of the truth is usually quentistic. For Hegel, when philosophy pens in grey on grey, then has a way of life matured and started to grow old. So the theoretical orientation towards truth does not coherently and consistently change the world. Rather, what is needed is action, which involves both thinking and changing the world. Therefore, for Marx, praxis stands for understanding theory for practical political actions. Next question by Marx again. Marx considered conflict as, the options are something pathological and harmful, option B, the engine of progress, option C, as an uncreative force, and option D, a way of life. But it is the option B, the engine of progress. Like, one of the most powerful sociological explanation of social conflict is that of Karl Marx, who possessed a class struggle between proletariat and bourgeoisie. Intrinsic to capitalist industrial society, this notion is powerful in being dynamic, intuitively persuasive, and appearing to fit well with history. It is powerful in proving in one package a description and explanation and a prediction of contemporary problem and a remedy. In outlining this view of social conflict and relating it to the conflict helix, he tries to show the conflict helix with the generalized theory to all societies. The next question is, in his theory of division of labor, Durkheim identified two types of societies, which are society based on, the options are achieved and ascriptive solidarity, option B is perceived and guessed solidarity, and C is mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity, and D is normal and pathological solidarity. And the option C is the correct, that is the mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity. Mechanical solidarity refers to the state of community bonding in traditional societies in which people share belief and values and perform common activities. And organic solidarity occurs when people live in a society with a diverse division of labor. This forces people to depend on one another for survival. The next question is, according to Lewis Coser, the major concern of Durkheim was, the options are how division of labor existed in society, how problems of social order versus disorder, in which conditions people committed suicide, or number D, the role of religion. The correct answer is B, the problem of social order versus disorder, because Emil Durkheim developed theories of social structure that included functionalism, the division of labor, and anomy. These theories were founded on the concept of social fact, or societal norms, values, and structures, those part from a whole normal state of society. For Durkheim, society is, the options are functional to individual, characterized by cooperation, sui generis, and molding human attitude. The correct option is C, that is sui generis. In sociology of Emil Durkheim, sui generis is used to illustrate his theories on social existence. He says that society as it was there before and living individuals was born in is independent of all individuals. His sui generis, which means the independent, society will furthermore continue its existence after the individual ceases to interact with each other. So for Durkheim, society is sui generis, that is, it is independent. The concept conspicuous consumption was propounded by, the options are number A, Karl Marx, B, T. Veblen, and C is Max Weber, and D is Emil Durkheim. And the correct option is B, that is T. Veblen. Conspicuous consumption is the spending of money on and the acquiring of luxury goods and services to public display economic power of the income of the accumulated wealth of the buyer. To the conspicuous consumption, such a public display of discretionary economic power is a means of either attaining or maintaining a given social status. So, dear friend, with this we have come to the end of the 30 Sociology MCQ practice questions. And for those of you who would like to learn more, watch my other videos, and for more infos and updates related to sociology, subscribe the channel. And remember, knowledge is as vast as ocean. The more you acquire it, the more it remains to be acquired.